Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to walk you through a little watercolor sketchbook tour. I actually finished this sketchbook over the summer, but I fell into a deep, dark despair, and so I kind of stopped doing art during the fall. I get really bad seasonal depression, and so I am just kind of picking myself back up from that, and I thought I'd start with something easy and just show you what I worked on while the sun was shining and everything was a little brighter in the world. This is my favorite little sketch pad to just pick up because I live in the middle of nowhere and real quality sketchbooks are hard to find, but this is Fabriano paper, which is really nice, even though it comes from the devil's store. I shouldn't call it that. Even though it comes from a store that I don't want to support, they have partnered with a very good paper Italian company. So this is the watercolor paper pad that I bought for $2, and this was the very first watercolor that I ever did, sitting on the dock by a lake, and I was pretty stoked and proud of myself, even though it's kind of just looks like a simple scene. I had never worked with how watercolors worked before, and so this was extremely impressive to my little beginner mind. Don't worry, it gets really bad the next 2 pages because this was beginner's luck, and then this is what happened. So this is just me figuring out how the materials work. I was trying to draw a loon, I was trying to draw I don't know what, and then it turned into Don Quixote, just because I thought it was funny. And then we get back into, okay, trying to figure out how these materials work. And I really liked this painting I did of a fog. It's supposed to be a lighthouse on the ocean in the middle of a fog, and I left most of it white because of that. I gave a copy to my parents for the recent holiday, and they did not know what it was. They had no idea. They thought maybe trees or something. So I like it even more because of that, because it's a little ambiguous of what it is in the fog. This was born out of just random brushstrokes, and I started to see an image in it. That's a lot of what this sketchbook is, me just playing around with watercolors and going, oh, that kind of looks like this. So this looked like a bottom up view from underwater, like with a schooling fish, and then like a paddle border on top. Here I was playing around with trying to copy an artist that I'm fond of. She's actually a textile artist, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I will put it somewhere on the screen. But she does like textiles and fiber work and like little tapestries of like farmyard scenes and like valleys and hills, and I was like trying to do her style but in watercolor, and I would say failed the first attempt. Second attempt was a little better, but I don't think I quite liked what I was doing necessarily in comparison to her, but as a standalone piece, I think I do like this element of like abstract landscapes. I do a lot of them in this book. Here's another one. From my memory, this is just sort of like the colors of Italian fields, nothing else, so I called them vineyards. This again is a bad attempt of me trying to figure out how to use these watercolors. Still trying and failing to use these. I was trying to do a lavender field in like foreground and midground and distance, and it didn't quite work, and I got some really harsh colors and then like was unable to go back into the background. So this one kind of got muddied, and this was just my palette of like seeing what happens when I put the colors I used here just on a palette, like on a painting, and see what they did. So I think I called this one Jazz in my head. Here I was, this is actually watercolor pencils that I had never used before and didn't particularly like, but again, I don't think I know how to use them very well, so I sort of mixed them with regular watercolor. And this piece grew on me. This piece, I really wanted to just leave it really simple, but as soon as I added the bird, I really stopped liking it, and I think it's because the sky background, I didn't know how to do that after I had added the bird. You can see like terrible trying to avoid everything else. Again, just playing with differences. So this paper is slightly more textured. This paper is slightly more textured on one side than it is on the other. You can't really see that here, except this is slightly more textured. You can see these ridges and things, and then this side. So I was just testing what each color looked like, or I was testing layers rather of colors and how the paper dealt with that on both sides. So this way. And then here, Oh, I don't know what happened here. I must have gotten water sprayed on it. This is trying to color rocks. Clearly not good at figuring out like depths and shadows and how all of that worked together. I tried 2 different types of styles, and I think I need to combine them, right, in order to get that feeling of distance back here. This is not much of a contrast. But anyway, I was playing around with texture that I could get. Well, this is probably one of my favorites. This is from my imagination, from my memory, again, of Italy. This was walking by a poppy field, and it was just so beautiful and huge and just filled with poppies that went on forever, and I tried to capture that. This is, again, is a simple little bird piece that I really liked in my head, but I didn't really like it on execution. I feel like I can do a lot better, but I don't know how to use watercolors well enough yet to figure out how to do these like washy backgrounds with really fine detailed white in the middle. So working on that. I got a coffee watercolor in the mail, and I was just playing around with it as a one color standalone, seeing what it could do. So I sort of made like a cavern. I don't know if you can tell, this is supposed to be like an entrance to the cavern. And then I just made a desert scene. Again, playing with values and texture and just seeing what happened. I put a few other colors into this one, obviously. More just playing. I think I was trying to use up this sketchbook and pushing myself to do different types of watercoloring because I was really just doing landscapes. And here I was trying flowers and leaves, trying to get layering down. Again, I'm bad with this white, like I'm bad with backgrounds and foregrounds. This is what I'm discovering. But with all this practice, I am getting better. Here, I think I might have painted this one first, actually, and then realized that it looked not like water at all because of the shape and everything, and I hated the sky, and so I tried again, and I still didn't really like it, and I think I settled on the fact that the colors weren't quite right. The sky needs to be darker, so does the ocean, so I just sort of left these. This I had a lot more fun with. Again, flowers, this coffee paint that I was trying to figure out what to do with. It's not like regular watercolor. It's very grainy. It has a lot of, I don't know, like grit into it. Like it's made with real coffee grounds. So it doesn't behave like normal watercolors. And so I was trying to mix and match and see what it did. And so I think the rest of the sketchbook is just this one coffee colored watercolor. But I really like the color, and I was trying to figure out how to use it, but you can see how much thicker the paint is. Here I was doing value studies and not really doing them well. I don't think I was using a reference. So then I found a reference and did an actual study and was pretty proud of myself, starting with, you know, just this, going from this to this. In one little sketchbook. I feel pretty proud of myself in my like jump of how I learned how to use these materials. And now watercolor is one of my favorite materials to use. So I hope you liked this little journey through my mind. All of these were painted from either memory or imagination. And it's such a little book. I feel like it's so great to just practice and play with because, I don't know, it's $2. You can't go wrong. So have fun with it. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have a really lovely holiday and don't get stressed as much as I do around family and events, and have a wonderful new year. Bye, everybody.